Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and a very good evening to you all, and welcome to today's Pathway to Excellence talk. My name is Rafa Shaheen. I'm a fourth-year medical student and the co-head of the training and development team under the surgery interest group alongside my co-head Lotus Maruf. It is also my pleasure to be the host for today's session. And before we start, I wanted to give you all a little brief about what Pathway to Excellence is, since it is a standing series under the training and development group. Now, Pathway to Excellence is a series that is all about giving students clear, practical insight into different medical careers, their pathway, training involvements, and what life looks like in that specialty. Each session brings someone who is currently in that field to share their experience, answer questions, and give you a realistic picture of what to expect. Today, we're focusing on a specialty that is very often overlooked, but is actually very impactful, and that specialty is anesthesia. And it is my absolute pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, Dr. Danijela Debelic, who is a physician specializing in anesthesiology, intensive care, and cardiac anesthesia. She has previously served on the boards of both the Croatian Anesthesiology Society and the Austrian Society of Ultrasound for Anesthesiologists. She is a co-founder of the internationally recognized heart ultrasound education programs in Croatia and Austria, as well as multiple initiatives dedicated to heart-brain research, human performance, and integrative wellness. Her work extends to peak performance health coaching, heart math research, and training, and she currently serves as a founding board member of the Saudi Arabian Wellness Association, or SAWA. Thank you so much, Dr. Danijela, for agreeing to give this talk. We are very excited to have you here with us. And with that, Dr. Danijela, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you so much. Please let me know, do you hear me well?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Thank you. And
Yes.
Doctor, you are now co-host, so you can share your screen if you'd like.
It's all right. I will share my screen. I just actually, first of all, it is really my honor to be with all of you here tonight. And I wish I could see all of your faces, and I wish we are in a room where we see each other and really ask each other questions, because this is really something that has to do with interaction. But anyway, I hope that I will give some information, let's say, to somebody who is curious about this field of anesthesiology. And we discussed a little bit that I will have these PowerPoint slides and then questions, but actually I would like to make it other way around. So if you have any questions, they can be very simple, whatever it is, just give your questions. I'll try to discuss. We can talk. It can be interactive, really talk. And if you don't want to ask me nothing now, I'll just talk. So let me know what is your preference, anybody in the audience. And really, I'm pleased to be here with you. And believe me, even for highest level emergencies, I am not anymore in any panic. I'm really calm. But tonight, now, 1 minute before this open, my heart was racing fast, and I was thinking, why? Why is it so? And I know why. It is because your choice of, let's say, your profession and all the things you go through are so big that practically I do not want to say any wrong word tonight. I just want to say something that for some of you will be like a huge encouragement, and for some of you, like a red light, no, it's not for me, but anyway, so please, if you like, we can just talk now, ask me anything, and if not, then I'll just say a few words, and that's it. Please just, so what is your preference?
Doctor, I think you can start with what you have to say, because we will have a Q&A session at the end, where we'll collect questions from everyone in case they have any, and we'll ask them to you directly, if that's okay.
That's okay with me. I have no problem with that. Yeah, I can share the screen. Actually, I put just a few PowerPoints with reminder for me what I want to say. But before I even open it, I asked today 10 of my colleagues and technicians and high-level anesthesiologists, like, what would you say, yes or no? And believe me, like half of them say no, tell them to run. And half of them say, oh my God, I love it still. So it is really a personal preference always. And I truly believe that God is leading us to the right place at the right time. By the way, I just want to tell you something. I'm from Croatia, from the city Rijeka by the sea, on Adriatic Sea. And I was working 13 years as anesthesiologist in Croatia first. Then I moved to Austria. So I was working in Austria for 5 years, mostly with, high-level cardiology, interventional things, and those things. In Croatia, I was cardiac anesthesiologist and general anesthesiologist for many things, a coach for regional anesthesia and also for heart ultrasound. We opened a school, practically, yes, on my initiative, because when you are bored, then you are just creating something. And I believe that all of us are creators, that we are not just learning things, and looking like this and applying those things. Because, when you look at the knowledge itself, now is different than 100 years ago. And now is different than what will be in 500 years ahead. So practically, please open your mind, everybody, and whatever you choose, just be very creative and learn and question every single thing you learn. This is for the start. Yes, I can. So after Austria, I was actually invited to come here. I never thought that I would come to Saudi Arabia, but I'm so glad I did, because the experience of the culture and the beauty of Saudi people and all the international society, which I really love, because everywhere where I go, we are trying to create something and do really nice international communication and building bridges and doing some great stuff, what I believe brings more peace and connects people on the most human level. So this is really important. Regarding sharing my screen, well, I can share just to have a reminder of something that I wrote, if you would allow me. Let me know just please if you can see it when I share. Just let me know if you can see it when I...
Yes, doctor, we can see your screen.
You can see the screen. Okay, this introduction, yes. You already said why I put all of these things, just to remind you that you can do anything, and that in every work you do, try to open your mind how to improve first yourself so that you can improve something else in the world. Why I started doing the research on the brain and the heart and coherence and all of those things after very hard work at anesthesiology and cardiac anesthesia and intensive care, because in Europe, anesthesia and intensive care goes together. We are the same team, depending on the shifts and what we really do. Because I have noticed some things, that the healing comes really from within, not from surgery itself or whatever we are trying to do on the outside, but truly from the energy that you broadcast within yourself and towards the world. There is one thing in any profession that you have to do, and this is to be the best version of yourself. And when I say that, I don't mean at your work, I mean as yourself. And there is one thing that you have to work as really as everything depends on you. When I came from Europe working here, then, some specialists who were here, they would say, oh, this is not case for me, this is for consultant. Believe me, in Europe, you don't have that division of consultant and specialist. Once you have your diploma, you have to be responsible to think of yourself and consult others from the point of your knowledge, not from the point of your ignorance and your fear. In this profession, fear has no space. And this is something that you have to know, whether you want to be a surgeon or anesthesiologist, in ER, whatever, you really have to erase that feeling from yourself. Do your best to learn a lot, manual skills, the knowledge behind it, simplify the things behind all the huge knowledge, and be always courageous to do the things. So, and of course, in God's hands, we are all, so really prayers always, this is a must. So I just want to point that to you. Be self-sufficient, but communicate very nicely with everybody to try to understand whether they are older or younger than you, where are they standing at and where are you standing at, what you can learn and what can you, maybe better and more than the older colleagues of yours, because some people at some point stop learning. I advise you never stop learning, even from your curiosity. It's kind of giving you enthusiasm. I put this question for all of you. What is your why? Why are you studying medicine? Is it because of you, your parents, your curiosity? You want to save the world? You want to save yourself? You want to save your patients? Or you just love biology, physics, chemistry, and play with those things and whatever is your passion, because you have to understand your character and you have to understand what do you do with that to kind of choose and pray to God that you get the chance to do it, really, so you are not wasting your time. I will tell you about me and my why. First of all, I thought that I want to be ophthalmologist, to have a nice, cozy place by the sea in Croatia, to sell Gucci glasses and be like that. But then, life happened in a way that practically I got the chance to be anesthesiologist. And when I was passing by the hospital, there was like a group of anesthesiologists, and I looked at them and I saw how good looking they are, how cool they are, how strong they are. They were joking like crazy. At that point, I didn't understand that they are looking like that and joking like crazy to reduce their stress. But some years afterwards, I understood kind of everything. And now I understand them and myself even more. But what is very interesting, after I became cardiac anesthesiologist and really doing, surgeries, anesthesias for acute myocardial infarctions, for ruptured aneurysm of ascending aorta, and all sorts of stuff like that, you are very, very, very tired, and then you question, why am I doing this to myself, that I am exhausted, that my family hardly sees me, that everybody forgets about me and I forget about them, that I'm 10 years focused just on knowledge, performance, and, because you are not allowed to make mistake. In this field, you are not allowed to make mistake. It's not like selling flowers. If you, a little bit sell like this and this, you maybe hurt a flower. Of course, probably flower feels the same. But this is a work of the precision. And when you are very tired and you feel like you are losing everything on behalf of this work, you have to find the reason why. What am I doing? And by observing the humans and everybody who I had in my hands and observing everybody in the ICU, as I said, we were working in the ICU and in anesthesia in the University Hospital in Croatia and University Hospital in Linz in Austria, I have understood that my only motivation is love. And maybe sounds kind of strange, but I will explain it to you. We are not saving people just only when you look at intensive care, let's say, outcomes. Sometimes you feel that you are saving them and giving all of your effort and knowledge so that you would prolong the agony of death, which is really not nice. But you never know who would survive, who would not. Sometimes you are surprised. This is why we do everything that everybody survives, not knowing, because it's really not in our hands. But at one point, my motivation, I defined it as love. And this is because if I, as an anesthesiologist, can prolong somebody's life, just that person can hear the kind message of somebody that loves them and that they love, I believe that it lifts up so much the energy on the planet, not only in the family. So I found my motivation. I want to do it with precision, with all of my passion, with all of my knowledge, with all of my education and learning even more and always and forever, just because of that. And all of this picture, I will tell you something. Later on, because I was asking and speaking with God so many times, God, help me understand, what am I doing? What can I do even better? What can I perform that not only my skills, my knowledge, that I see that something connect me with someone. And then somehow God connected me with the people who are actually working, the research chief of HeartMath Institute in California, that I'm even today making some research on the human consciousness and the human heart. And basically what the research shows that they are doing since 20 years, that when we project love towards ourselves and others and the world, we are actually coupling some energy in the field that can be measured even with random number generators and with something that looks like oximetry, that you can see the buildup of coherence of your heart, and that is connected with each and every one on the planet. When I have learned that, then I was even more willing, to do all of my work with even more passion, because I wanted to spread even that level of knowledge, which has nothing to do with anesthesiology and everything to do with the knowledge of anesthesiology that I have learned. Why? Because for anesthesia field, I would say this is the only profession that deeply understands and has to understand the physiology of the whole body and never forgets it, not just learn it and then you forget it. You have to know pretty well anatomy to approach in many ways, let's say, all the body or particular access to, I don't know, the vessels, the regional anesthesia. You have to simply know it. But more than that, you have to really, really know precisely physiology, because to be anesthesiologist doesn't mean you put somebody asleep while soldiers are working. Surgeons, you are actually managing their life. One of my professors said once, she's an amazing lady, she was a chief of ICU. She said, we are keepers of the soul. Because if you know how to keep the body, then you will, of course, prolong the soul's life within this body that we are trying to, how would I say, save some people. And even during the surgery, there are so many, let's say, situations sometimes that you have to, with all of your precision, intuition, and knowledge, practically keep their body alive and in the balance. So when I wrote here, one of the most demanding works of the planet, even statistics show that anesthesia, together with MiG pilots of the military and some other professions, are top 10 professions in the world. Actually, on some statistics, top 5, and some statistics, top 10. Within 10, there are the most stressful professions, because you have to be always focused very sharply. You have to have intuition. You have to know a lot. You have to watch all of your team, your patient, and the monitors. And at the same time, when you are doing the action, you have to always and forever maintain your peace. It's kind of art that you develop through the work. So you just have to be aware of it. And when I'm saying that, it costs you a lot. Today, I was discussing with my colleagues, and they say, 10 to 15 years of my life I skipped because of this profession. No celebrations in a way other people do. Family suffers. That is the truth. You cannot escape it if you want really to be good. But if you do it half of your capacity, you will be scared. You will not do a good work. And this is not for you. Because, as again, you have to be able to save others. It's not a job to joke about. How to do it? How to do it? I would say, I would just ask you, what do you think? How can you do professions like what mine is? Perhaps yours in the future. I can answer you shortly, because this is quite a short lesson. This is something we could discuss for a few hours with so many questions. But always in your life, whether you are giving charity, whether you are giving from yourself something, you can give only what you have. And you have to have, these are minimum knowledge, high-level manual skills, diplomatic communication with everybody. All of these things are very important. You cannot be angry, you cannot show anger, even if you are. You have to be always calm, try to understand what is going on. At the same time, be very respectful, very sharp focused. You have to be, accountable in a way that people can count on you because they think that you know a lot. So first you pretend, but then you quickly learn, and then you learn and you learn and you learn. Kindness, even when you would explode. Compassion towards those who do not know as much as you do, and compassion towards, let's say, the situation itself, your colleagues first, different professions, different speed of thinking, and compassion towards the patients. Always maintain harmony within yourself and peace. I am repeating this again. The art of each and every point of here, it's the whole story behind it, but I will not speak about it much tonight. If you wish, we can do it some other time. I put here top people in the world of different professions, whether it is music, dancing, sport. I put Ronaldo, even I like him very much, skiers, whatever, Wiener Philharmonica, Symphony Orchestra. Why I put these people here? Because each and every one of them is highly focused on their move, on their thinking, highly aware of everything they are doing, so they can perform together, just like perfection of a music of Wiener Philharmonica. So you have to be able to ask and demand from yourself that level. Even though we don't get any clapping like these people do, don't worry about it. God is clapping when we succeed. We are clapping, we are happy, we are in peace when we succeed. But this is the level you have to ask from yourself to be. How? What to do? Maybe this sounds totally crazy for you. You expected that I will do statistics on anesthesiologists, on salary. Yes, we have pretty high level of money for surgeons, anesthesia. Everywhere in the world you can work. But I wanted to focus on you. Because if you think that you can be a good doctor, let's say, in any profession, especially in anesthesia, surgery, anything, without doing, I put here very nicely, ice bath, what Ronaldo does and many other people, I love to do it too. You do sports. I'm from Croatia. This picture of the seas from my country, I love it. I love the desert too. You have to use it. Travel. Eat good things. You have dates, you have olive oils, you have berries, you have everything. Meditate. Reflect on everything that happened in silence. Don't drag, don't gossip, don't yell, don't shout. Do your best. Reflect on things. Learn. Do it again. Every single day. Do it again. If you're eating junk food, if you are not doing sports, if you are not doing passionately things you love in the same adrenaline power, like you are doing your work when the things are tough, you will not succeed. You will be burned out. You will be in the wrong weight of your body. You will not feel happy. You will be depressed, and you will be not good neither to yourself, neither to everybody. This slide is very important. So whoever is watching, please remember this. High level physical performance can only, let's say, how would I say, produce the high level of your work. This work of anesthesiology, I would say that you have to understand that behind the knowledge and all of those things, you have to be very good observer. And I want to tell you, there are two levels of observation that maybe you never thought about. One, you have to know your technology. What are you measuring? Physiology has to be in the middle of the night when you are sleeping. You have to know how physiology works in the body, how your drugs affect physiology, how position affects all those things, and to know your monitor by heart, okay? And observe your stuff. Observe what is everybody doing, but focus on your present work. This is number one. The second, I suggest you go to the websites where you can learn about the observer effect. They made a huge research in Switzerland underneath those, nuclear tunnels, and they made particular experiment that, believe me, I have noticed before I was reading about the observer effect, because it was troubling me so much that I was discussing even in Croatia so many times with my staff. I said, guys, do you recognize that this is really going on? So when you are observing things, let's say in OR, in particular way, or anywhere in your life, depending of the way you observe, you will have the outcome. Not only that, the outcome of the observing object will change when you look or when you don't look. So it bothered me so much. Let's say if you are watching infusion, that infusion goes so that you can stop it, and it would never go because you are watching, then you turn your face here and you just turn your face back. Oh my God, it's already air almost in the patient. And it was only 1 second. And I started observing some strange things, because you really have to pay attention when you do this work. What I'm trying to tell you, how you look at reality, reality unfolds. We have, even as human beings, that level of power. And my colleagues, even in Croatia, in Austria, and even here, some of them, they always tell me, why in the world, when you are on call, in majority of your calls is absolute peace? Because I intentionally observe the hospital that way. If you are looking for chaos, you will have it. If you are looking for peace, you will have it. Because our mind, what I researched together with the HeartMath Institute from California, they studied since many, many, many decades, is so powerful that the way you see things, they are. So be very careful. Be very, very careful what you say, what you look, how you do things, whatever you choose to do. Read about the observer effect. It's kind of weird, but it will help you too. Why I put these people here like this? Because you have to have, with all of your knowledge and characteristics as a person, dominance over the situation. Not arrogance, but peaceful dominance. That's anesthesia. This is just one of these last slides when I said, when you play, play hard. When you work, don't play at all. I like this sentence because, again, you have to live with passion. You have to take care of your private life, of your fitness, of your joy, of your celebrations, in even bigger extent than what your work desires from you to give. Be very careful with that. I wish somebody told me that when I was a beginner, really, because I wouldn't be, let's say, so upset about, oh, I have to think about patients, I have to think about everything, even at home, not giving anybody peace, neither to myself. No, this is not the way of life. But, you know, we all learn our way. So I want to tell you one thing only more regarding what shortly I wanted to say. For anesthesia, the world is our stage. You can work wherever you want. If you give your effort, you can communicate depending what is your target. What do you want? Do you want just, you know, one place, more steady work, or you want really dynamic things, discovering things in life, and to give your contribution to the level of whatever you desire. Just remember to be the best version of yourself, and whatever you choose will be good. So this is regarding my slides. Because as I said, I don't think that any statistics or some other descriptions would actually help you. You have to go through it. There is no escape of personal, let's say, development and personal experience. I cannot do it for you. Nobody can. So ask me any question and I will try to understand what are you actually asking and answer you if I know. So please feel free.
Thank you so much, Dr. Danijela. Your talk was very inspiring. We do actually have a few questions that we'd like to ask you.
Yeah.
So number one, are there any specific subspecialties within anesthesia that you think are growing and becoming more important as we move with the future of the healthcare field?
Uh, there are always subspecialty, and in Europe we have, let's say, where I worked, always hospitals that are divided for particular subspecialties. So I was working 8 years as cardiac anesthesiologist. So you can work for neuroanesthesia, you can work only for children's, not only, I mean, for children's anesthesiology, you can really highly subspecialize yourself. But I would say, don't choose what you think is popular or more demanding. Choose what you like, because this is what you will do the best. And everything is necessary to do. So there is no, not more important one or another. Although, let's say, I would say for anesthesiology, for me personally, the most interesting was always cardiac anesthesia, because once you understand the heart and circulation, you can actually work. If you are superficially knowing that part and focusing just on some general things, not going deep into the heart circulation, the drugs that act upon the heart and circulation, you cannot save nobody. You can if they are lightly hurt, but not if it's something severe. So choose what you like and what your heart tells you, or whatever you get a chance to, and be good at it. But whatever you choose, even if you choose, let's say, a hospital that is very elegant, that is not so, let's say, intensely with acute cases and stuff like that, still, you have to go and pass through the education that is very strong, so that you have the backup of much bigger knowledge than what you use. Then you will feel totally confident doing even just observing the locals. What we do here sometimes, we are observing just, ophthalmology teams doing the local anesthesia and doing cataract surgery, but I can do it with absolute confidence, because I know that even if the rupture aneurysm comes, I can work on that. So I hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you so much, Doctor. We do have a couple more questions, so we're going to keep them coming. The second one here is, do you have any advice for someone who's unsure but curious about choosing anesthesia? And by advice, I mean, as medical students, if we are interested in anesthesia, how do you think we can properly apply ourselves in areas and in places that would properly foster our interest in anesthesia?
I would say that you have to choose to do the rounds when you have a chance to go 1 month for anesthesiology or something like that in the best possible center. I was really lucky enough, or God put me in the place where it was very, very intense, very knowledgeable people who were working also all over the world, and they were teaching me. So I was amazed with the knowledge itself. So you cannot decide unless you see the quality. You have to go to the places, whether here or abroad, or here and abroad, to see different approaches, to invest a little bit of time, maybe money, maybe your will or whatever, just to kind of see what is going on, where do I like, what is it that I can learn? Is it for me? Does it excite me? Do I love this knowledge? Does it, challenge me? Because even though how would I say, you cannot start looking at these things in centers that are not really high level, and they do not have all the technology necessary to learn from anesthesia. Once you have on board and you are even watching in the center that has top technology and top people who work with that, then you will understand the possibilities and try to then think, okay, do I like this part, or maybe I like to be more surgeon. Today I was asking one surgeon or dermatologist or psychologist or whatever, I asked one surgeon, why do you like this work? What is the most, why do you even do it? And he said, well, you see, I love suturing, and he's orthopedic surgeon. It was kind of funny. We started laughing. I said, so you like suturing? He said, yes, actually, I love it. I said, so why you didn't choose to be fashion designer, just to do the dresses instead of people? He said, no, I like this. I said, okay, it's kind of weird, but you have to go to the top places, to high-level university hospitals, and to really see what would you never like to do. For instance, I saw in my university hospital when we were doing the rounds, that I could not handle, let's say, internal medicine. I have no passion, neither nerves enough just to wait, but every visitor there, you know, they are talking for hours, decided something, and then you have results after maybe 2 months. It was for me not like, not for me, really. I knew it. Also, let's say general practitioner, to sitting there and listening to people talking more about their family than really helping them, I could not. So when I got anesthesia, I was actually happy because in a way, you are just focusing on truly helping physiology of a human body, maintaining it or helping it in a way. At the same time, you do not have to talk too much to people because you see immediately what's going on and you basically help them, but not mentally so much. And you don't have to deal with, let's say, the wards where lots of complaints, lots of those things that actually take your energy away as well. But some people like it. It's okay. So you have to go to the top center to watch what they are really doing and to feel if at particular work you get excitement or you get boredom. Are you tired even when you step there, or you actually want to learn? This is what I would say.
Okay, and doctor, you mentioned that you were not really into internal medicine when you first
Yeah,
checked it
no,
out.
no.
Yeah, and so I'm curious, and I wanted to ask, what was that thing that finally pushed you into choosing anesthesia? What really made that final verdict for you?
I had, because our university hospital gives you specialty when there is opening of the work. So practically I was waiting for some time, hoping for ophthalmology, but then there was opening of few professions, among which was anesthesiology, and I just chose it. I literally chose it by heart without even knowing how will it look like. I looked at this team, they looked so cool, and I thought, well, you know, let me just do this. And then I understood that God was leading me towards this profession, and that all my international, let's say, interactions that followed after I learned the art of anesthesiology were very helpful on many levels to so many people that I would never reach if I chose something else. So it was kind of my choice, but I believe really that God is kind of pushing us towards something, even locations and places and people, for something that we don't even know why. But again, I chose among what was there. They were offering me so many times internal medicine, which is not bad. Some people really love it and they're good at it. They're excellent. If I would choose now anything regarding the internal medicine, I would choose just cardiology, nothing else. But it's just because I love to work with heart and circulation. But everybody has its own preference. Don't ignore your preference, regardless of what I say or somebody else.
Yeah, I fully agree, doctor. And talking about preferences, I'm sure that anesthesia has its own kind of mix of work-life balance. And I was curious as to what does that work-life balance look like? Because many people all around the world that are medical students and thinking about going to the healthcare into the healthcare field and all that, they think about work-life balance as their number one concern. And so I wanted to know more about that balance in anesthesia.
There is no balance unless you make it. This is why I put on the slide. And more I work in this field, I go every day to the gym minimum 1 hour. I do meditations. I go to the desert every single weekend. You have to do it. You have to devote your time for your life, for your family, but you have to choose to make it. Otherwise, they will drag you. They will call you all the time. They will take everything from you. You know, and then you start some research. Oh my God, this is interesting. I want this title. I want to do this. I want to do that. Yes, you can do anything, but unless you understand what are you actually doing, it can drag you some way. Unless then one day you see, oh my God, what have I done? So my point is try to make from the start that balance, which must be physical, must be your family. First of all, you must work on yourself, because you cannot give to no one unless you are fit. I couldn't repeat this enough time. I was burned out at one time to the level that I came after one cardio anesthesia 24 hours. It was many, many years back. I wasn't noticing because I love to work, and I push myself to work so much that I work until I fall down. So this was how it was before, until I learned. I came home, colors in front of my eyes. Suddenly, in 1 minute, I didn't see nothing, rash all over my body. I could hardly breathe. My immune system was broken. And I didn't even notice how it developed. Then I understood my son was small, and I was thinking, oh my God, what have I done? It's not what they have done to me. How I didn't understand actually how I have to lead my life. Since that point forward up to now, I take care of my fitness first, or my food must be totally pure. No junk food, no junk nothing. And you have to maintain your peace by prayers and meditations. You have to do it daily. You have to drink water, not Pepsi, not those things. You have to maintain your physiology on the top level. So this is the only way. And then you can work at your work and you can give to your family, or other way around, however. So you have to choose it to be balanced. I see many people, and I see them now because of all the experiences that I have in my life. And when I see them that they're not working nothing, and some of my colleagues, I said, okay, put your shoulders straight. Did you exercise yesterday or today? Did you go to the gym before you came to work? What did you do? How do you plan? And one of the colleagues today told me, when I don't go 1 week for the gym, I'm angry at everybody. I said, of course, because you cannot maintain yourself. So life-work balance in anesthesia and surgery is, I believe, the hardest to maintain. You have to be very, very much aware of it. There was one doctor, she came in OR, she saw how we are explaining, the patient balance, managing the blood pressures, there is the monitors, all sorts of stuff. She said, oh my God, I love this. I think I will apply for that. I said, okay, are you ready not to have weekends, not to have nights, not to have time for your kids when you want? Are you ready for that? Then she looked at me and she said, well, not really. I said, think twice. It's very serious. So, yeah, if you can, let's say, think what is your top priority, just think deeply, because you can
So
do
you have
anything you
to,
want.
yeah, so you have to make your own balance to find proper work-life balance, and
You
no matter what
have
specialty you're
to,
in. Yeah.
yes. And when somebody calls you, when is your free time, close the phone, don't answer if it's from the hospital. First, I thought it's very rude, really. In the beginning, I would do anything anybody wanted. I stayed in the hospital even when I didn't have to, because my chief was asking from me in Croatia. I know how to write really well. I know how to make good concepts and how to teach. So he was asking me that I sit with him until 8 o'clock. My son was calling me, crying on the phone, please come home. I didn't understand then that I can say no to him. But if you know, you don't have to experience all of those things, in order to learn. Really, I told you, I learned it very hard in order that I can even maintain everything I do now. But if you do it from the start, not forgetting yourself. In the hospital, they have so many lectures. Oh, towards the patients, towards the patients, towards the patients. I will tell you one thing. Of course, you will do good for your patients if you know the work. So again, there are two things, the knowledge and your skill, manual skill. Of course, you will do good. It's not a question. Of course, if you are kind enough, then you will not shout and nobody will try to make them feel good along the way. But you do not have to give extra of yourself to no one. You have to give it for yourself, for your family, for your peace. Then you can go long run. Many of my colleagues have heart infarcts, they have burned out syndromes, they have broken everything because of this profession. But if you know how to lead your life, to say no, to take time, go and celebrate, buy yourself a new dress, take a new perfume, enjoy your life, you know, whatever you like, go racing with cars or ride horses, do whatever you need, you know. So from the start, this is my biggest advice to all of you, whatever you choose. But in your work, you have to be very precise, very focused. Don't spare yourself. When you learn, you have to be very, very, very enthusiastic and learn from the best people. Don't be scared to learn. Everybody was beginner at one point. Go to the best centers in the world, because then you will have self-confidence and you will have high-level knowledge. Invest few years, yeah.
Yeah. Everything you've said is totally valid, and I'm sure we're all trying to apply that balance, even just as medical students, so we can have that kind of habit in the future.
Yeah.
And I do recall that you mentioned burnout at some point. You came back home and you were extremely tired and your immune system was all broken up. But doctor, I wanted to ask more specifically, what are the most common causes or causes of burnout that you face as an anesthesiologist nowadays, not just when you were a beginner?
Physical exhaustion.
And the physical exhaustion, does it impact the way that you work, and does it impact that work-life balance that you worked so hard to have?
We don't allow that our physical exhaustion would ever affect our work, but everything else suffers. Because you know that you are responsible and you don't allow that it affects your work, but it affects your health, it affects your family, it affects the way you communicate, it affects everything. So unless you want to get there, I cannot spare you from that. You will probably go through some levels of burnout, all of you.
Yeah, of course. I feel like it's inevitable at some point. Yeah, it
Yeah,
has to
because
happen.
you will not believe me until you go through. That's it, how humans are. We love to learn from ourselves. But I'm just trying to tell you, everything comes from your physical exhaustion that leads to the mental exhaustion. When you are physically and mentally exhausted, you don't function. Your frontal alpha waves cannot be formed. This is why I started all of this research in the world. I'm co-founder of the brain research unit with Germans from Hanover and Munich, because we started measuring meditators and all sorts of people, and people who come to meditate, thousands of them in the United States and Europe. They are actually people who are high-level VIP workaholics, a lot of them, just like us. You think that your destiny is just OR. No, it's not. Then I started to measure these people with my team, and you can literally see, unless you take time to meditate at least 15 minutes per day once you know how to do it, or at least breathe in peace, your brain doesn't function. This is a fact, it's scientific fact. And then you drag, you push yourself until you face the wall. And then you try to recover. And then you recover, but you don't have to get there. You know, you can skip it kind of a little bit.
And doctor, you mentioned a lot about meditation and the gym and all that work-life balance kind of stuff. I wanted to ask you if you can briefly walk us through what a day in your life as an anesthesiologist looks like.
Okay. As I said, many days I go at 6 a.m. at the gym. Then at 7 something, I go to work. Let's say we do things. In Europe, we were more like in university clinics, we were more creating some things. So along the patient's work, we were creating some projects at, let's say, those international schools. Then it kind of excites you. If you're just doing your work for the patients, it is not boring, but it is not inspiring. If you are creating something more, let's say like those schools, or you are engaged in some projects, unless you really want to go just for money in the first 15 years of your life, that you're not giving any other effort, so that you are actually giving that level of energy for earning money. This is another story. But you have to have some interest that is beyond just doing perfection of your manual and mental skills for a person. this is how I see it, because then you are more motivated. Yeah, and if you do your work well, really well, in the second you get out of the hospital, I'm not anymore even thinking about them, not one bit. I focus first on the palm trees and driving and those things, then I'm thinking other things and communicate with my family, doing things for myself, you know, all of those other things, maybe to go to sport again, a little bit meditation, reading, and doing international projects, what I do for meditations, even online. So you choose how you want, but it's like, as I said, you cannot allow yourself to work hard, to come home, to eat hamburgers, watch TV, and sit on the couch. It is disaster formula. No way.
Yeah,
My best friends and colleagues I work with, one of them is a pilot of private jet. He has another one is a diver with scuba diving. He's going on competitions. Another one is driving a fast motorbike. The adrenaline that you have to use in your private life to gain your peace, because when this one is driving motorcycle, is actually level of peace and control. This one goes deep into the sea, because he said to me, you know, Danijela, when I go deep, I'm out of this world. It's only blue and it's total peace. You know, when this professor actually from Denmark, Professor Slaughter, is a founder of 8 courses for health ultrasound, that I'm course director international also now, he goes above the earth and he finds the balance. He's just observing the planet and the space. One of my Austrian colleagues, he bought the biggest telescope he could find, and he's watching the stars. So how to find the balance? It's on you, whatever you love. But in your work, you have to always learn from the best books, from the best people, and don't spare yourself in the beginning, because then you will cry later on and look, oh, where is my consultant? Where is my consultant? Don't do it to yourself.
yeah, and obviously none of us like crying. And Dr. Danijela, you mentioned many of your colleagues and yourself as well, you find ways to keep that adrenaline going and apply that same adrenaline to your work. And I was curious, how does the stress level in anesthesia compare to that of other chronic care or other chronic care medical specialties? Or is it similar? Is it more? What do you think?
I can tell you from the statistics in the world, it is the worst medical profession for stress. And depression, anxiety, even suicides, the worst. On the other hand, if you know how to manage yourself, it can be a blessing for yourself and others. So, again, if you love, I asked one of my colleagues who is technician. He said, yeah, I like anesthesia. I would not work in any other field because they are just too loud. Here we put patients asleep, you have control, you know your work, and it's kind of quiet and dynamic at the same time. So if you like to talk a lot, to socialize a lot, I mean, we have to, because we have to communicate with all the, let's say, it's very dynamic in communication to understand the patient, who will we take, what is going on with this one, with that one. But on the other hand, in a moment when you really do your work, your part, it's quiet. It is controlled. You're working with human physiology and with your knowledge. It's peaceful in a way, in a crazy way, but it's peaceful. I don't know even how to explain it, but if you ever try to come to us and you do it yourself, you will understand what am I talking about.
And I think a lot of it also comes down to passion. Once you're passionate about
Yeah.
something and you do it, it kind of all goes silent around you.
You have to be passionate for anything in your life. If you're trying to diminish your passion, you cannot be good at nothing. You have to. Whatever it is it cooking? Is it riding horses? Is it riding motorcycle bike? Is it whatever you love? Just love and really do it. And then These things that you have to do, when you summarize them, it's simple. It's not so complicated if you looked from the higher perspective. But if you get yourself nervous about small things and you are never in peace because you don't know how to find it for yourself, then you have to learn a lot. I am teaching even breathing and meditation online. I'm doing all sorts of stuff. I am a leader. It's called Lighter Heart. It's regarding the Global Consciousness Project within HeartMath. And we are doing some projects for the world because I believe we can. We can give that peace from us to our patients, to our family. But first, you have to put in yourself, whether you choose whatever profession. You can allow to be messed up, nervous, not balanced, and very hard to communicate, or you can choose to build up yourself. Ice bath, running, whatever you like, it's on you. It's more about personal development, because the pictures that I showed of every high performer in the world, including yourself, I'm talking to you as a high performer people who chose profession that is a little bit more demanding than average ones. You're high performers. Take that precision and peace and everything first in yourself. Balance yourself, and whatever you choose, you'll be good at.
Yeah, I honestly fully agree, Dr. Daniela, and that is a very, very good ending to our Q&A session, because I've asked all the questions, but Doctor, I did want to ask if you have anything else that you'd like to add to just a last little take-home message to all of our participants today.
I would actually love to talk with people who are listening to me, because really I would love to see what are their thoughts, what are their concerns, what are their troubles, what are their passions, so that we can interact. But if I don't have a chance for that, it's okay. I would just say, believe your heart, really believe your heart, ask your heart in peace. Ask your questions in prayers, in total peace, and be quiet enough to listen. If it has to be every single day, every single day. Give honor to yourself, give honor to the world. Our profession is beautiful because we do not judge people. We help everybody. This is why I'm here. I worked with people on all the, continents, from all the continents, literally. And I love it. So choose from your heart. This is my message.
Thank you so much, Dr. Daniela, for this very inspiring talk. I'm sure it helped a lot of our participants today understand what the field of anesthesia is really about. And I can assure you that it opened the eyes of those who weren't even considering it as a specialty to go into. And I can tell you for sure that it opened mine as well. And I'd like to thank you so much for agreeing to join us today, because this was truly inspirational.
I thank you all. I thank you really, everybody who invited me and who is listening to me. Be very kind to yourself, please.
Will do. Thank you so much, Dr.
And love.
Daniela. And thank you all so much for attending this talk. I hope you all learned from Dr. Daniela, because I'm sure I did as well. Everyone have a good night. And thank you so much, Dr. Daniela, again.
Thank you. Thank you. And good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.
All the best blessings for your life.
Thank you so much, Dr. Daniela.
Thank you.
Have a great day.